Yo, welcome to the Man Space Podcast, where we are redefining manhood. I'm your host, Kyle Torrey, and this podcast is for men and by men. Yeah, for men and by men. But ladies, listen, you can pull up a chair. Man, this is an opportunity for you to listen and hear what's going on in the men's lives around you. This is a safe space for men. And so I want you to have an opportunity to be able to hear what we're carrying, because then it's going to be better for the man in your life. But anyway, to the men, listen, today's topic is going to be around your village. Listen, who you are and who you become is determined by who you have around you. I'm going to say it again. Who you are and who you become is significantly influenced by who you have around you. Yeah, it's one of the most significant decisions that you will probably make in your entire life. I think about growing up, man. It's funny. It feels like our parents had a sixth sense for these things, right? Like you always had your friend you brought in the house, and your mama or your daddy pull you to the side and say, you need to quit hanging around that kid. Like out of all your friends, you might brought 4 or 5 kids in the house, and they'll point out that one and be like, you need to stop hanging around him. And in your mind, you're like, that's my boy. You know what I mean? Like we ride bikes together, we skateboard together, we do whatever. Like, but as time has went on, that will be the very one who seems to go wayward. That'll be the very one who got into the trouble growing up. I think about 2 different friends that I had. I had one friend who was one of my best friends since 6th grade. We used to play basketball together. We used to stay at each other's house on the weekend. Man, it seemed like we did everything together. And then I had another friend who was kind of like a family friend. It was somebody I was around from time to time. And we went to the same high school, but around senior year when I started playing football, I spent more time with this other friend. And so I would spend half my time with one and half my time with the other. And I remember after I graduated, and I remember going to college, me and my best friend, the one I said I spent the majority of my time with growing up. And I remember we both went to school together. And while we was in college, man, after a few months, he stopped coming around. And I remember telling him, like, man, you keep missing class, bro. Like what's going on? I remember after the first semester, he had already dropped out. And it seemed like every other day he was trying to get me to come hang with him during the time I typically had class. And I was struggling. I was worn with it. Now, my other boy who I told you about, he was going to one of the most prestigious schools in my city. And I remember him challenging me saying, nah, bro, you need to be going to class. You need to be taking care of your business. And so I had a choice to make. I could either listen to my friend who was telling me to skip school and come hang with him, and the one who I had been so close to growing up, or I could listen to my boy who was challenging me about the right thing to do and about staying in school and taking care of my business. And in that moment, my life changed. And I made the decision to listen to my boy who was telling me the right thing to do. And here's the thing. That decision changed the trajectory of my life. So yeah, see, that one friend ended up dropping out of school. That one friend ended up getting on drugs. That one friend has spent probably the past 10 to 15 years in prison. And it breaks my heart because when I look at him, I'm like, that could have been me had I not had another friend in my ear telling me the right thing to do and encouraging me and challenging me to do what was best for my future. And because of that relationship, I stayed in school. Because of that relationship, I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Because of that decision, I ended up graduating from college. And because of that decision, I walked into a profession and a career where I have been able to be successful beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Why? Because I had somebody in my life who cared enough about me to tell me the truth about what I needed to be doing. Somebody in my life who cared enough about me to tell me not to turn down the wrong road. See, when I was growing up, it was all about loyalty. Yeah, see, I didn't have siblings growing up. So my friendships and my relationships were like family to me. And I held loyalty at the highest regard. Loyalty meant everything to me. But here's the problem with men when it comes to loyalty. Oftentimes we define it wrong. Yeah, see, we define it as someone supporting you no matter what. But that's not loyalty. That's not real loyalty. Yet loyalty is not about supporting you no matter what. No, loyalty is supposed to be about supporting you and telling you the truth no matter what. Doing what's best for you no matter what. See, I'm going to be honest. I'd rather have accountability more than I'd rather have loyalty. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. I'd rather have accountability more than I ever would have the loyalty that I was taught growing up. Yeah, because accountability is not afraid to put the relationship at risk, to tell you or do the thing that's best for you. See, the loyalty I was taught growing up, you didn't tell the person they was wrong. What you did was you supported all their actions even when they were wrong, no matter how destructive they were. See, man, we got to change the way we think about this word. If you're a real friend and you're really loyal, then that means that you'll put the relationship at risk to make sure your boy don't go the wrong direction, to make sure your friend don't destroy his family, to make sure your friend don't mess up his job and his career doing something stupid. See, who you have around you affects how you think. Yeah, who you have around you affects how you act. Who you have around you affects your decision making. Yeah, see, I'm a Christian. I grew up reading the Bible, and the Bible says bad company corrupts good morals. Yeah, even our maker, even God communicates this reality. Bad company corrupts good morals. What does that say? That says that actually your parents did a good job in raising you. You actually have good morals. But the reality is that can shift and that can change if you got bad company around you. If you got the wrong people around you, even the way you were brought up by your mama, your grandmother, your uncles, your father, all that can change on a dime by the company you keep. That's how powerful it is. So my question to you right now, man, is who's in your village? Who do you got around you? Who are the ones who are influencing your actions? And then once you figure out who those people are, I want you to evaluate. Again, this is a soul learning. We have to evaluate from time to time who we have around us and if those relationships need to change. And I know that's hard. Maybe that person was there for you at your lowest moment when you was broke and they gave you money. Maybe that person was there for you when y'all stood back to back and had to fight y'all way out of a situation. But here's the reality. If that relationship is actually a destructive influence in your life, then it's got to change. That doesn't mean you don't still love them. It just might mean that y'all can't be as close as y'all once were. But we got to evaluate the relationship. Think about your bad decisions. Are the bad decisions you made in your life that you know were bad, that you know were destructive, that you know brought you pain and hurt, did they applaud those actions or were they the ones warning you not to do it? Yeah. But you got to deal with the answer to that question. Does that person have the track record of telling you hard things? Because here's the reality. It goes both ways. Yeah. Yeah, the question is what kind of friend are you? Are you the type of friend who will say the hard thing to your boy? Should they want you in their village? Yeah, see, after you made that evaluation, the next thing you do is you need to make space. Make space for the right kind of folks that need to be closest to you. The kind of people that you can share what's going on in your relationship with the relationship with your wife or your girl or with your kids. The people that can hold your deepest struggles. You got to make space. I'm going to be honest. The people who are closest to me today are never people that I probably would have chosen for myself 20 years ago. No. Yeah, the people who are closest to me, the people who I trust with that kind of vulnerability aren't necessarily the people that you would be able to pick in a lineup. Yeah, they might not be the swaggiest people. They might not be the coolest people, but I tell you what they are. They're the people who love me, who are really looking out for my best interests. Who care about my kids, who care about my family, who care about my spouse, who care about my career and my job. The people who are willing to sacrifice for me. Yeah, they value my perspective. They know I care about them. These are intimate friendships. I'm not talking about sexual. I'm talking about real relationships. Listen, men, we need these in order to thrive in our lives. If you're wondering why you're not thriving, one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is who's in your village? Who you hanging around? If you've been struggling with the same thing for years, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who is around you holding you accountable? Yeah, I know what our culture tells us, but let me say this. Men, you are not made to be alone. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. We are not made to be alone. Yeah, no civilization throughout the history of the world has ever thrived with men being in isolation. And today we're in the most isolated time of our world history. Everything in our lives is created to box people out. Even the things we teach one another in our culture. Statements like, don't let nobody in your business. Don't let nobody in your business is probably one of the most detrimental statements in the black community. Yeah. But let me say this. Your village doesn't have to be all men. Yeah, I know this is the Manhood podcast, but hear me. Sometimes you need a female perspective. And it helps to inform what you do. It's like they got a sixth sense. I've had women and friends in my life who have given me some of the greatest advice I've ever had. Because the reality is, if you get the right people around you, you all get to build together. You get to pull each other up. You get to help each other succeed. Man, two people that I've seen this happen with, man, one is LeBron James, man. People can feel however they want to feel about basketball. We can push that to the side, even though he's the greatest player to ever live. But one of the reasons why he said that he's been able to be so successful and haven't had all the scandals that a lot of stars have is because of his team. He has a close-knit team who he didn't just put them there and just have them there to occupy space, or they're just there because they were the people that he spent the most time with growing up. Actually, most people don't know this. His actual team, his 4 or 5 guys, aren't even the ones who used to play on his basketball team or who he grew up with or spent the most time with. These were the people who were around him who he felt had his best interests at heart and could be most effective in his life and him in their lives for them to elevate and to grow together. And when you look at LeBron, he's been successful. His basketball legacy, his business legacy, his family legacy. Why? He doesn't give all the credit to his upbringing. He doesn't give all the credit to his basketball skills. He gives credit to his team. Listen, if you want to level up, then you got to have the right kind of people around you holding you up. Yeah, because who's in your village matters. Episode 6. I'm out.